Greetings from Zimbabwe, greetings from isolation on the hilltop, overlooking this lovely African valley. And also, I just wanted to say to you, little Zozo's doing fine as a big Zozo. Remember little Zozo who we pulled out of the mud, that little orphaned elephant? Created quite a stir. So I've gone on now to tell you a few more stories about elephants, because we, as we have grown along in the development of our business, have added little elephants to the herd. When I first started making elephants and sculpt them, I'd put one on the dining room table and then another, and then I named them after famous elephants. In fact, I sculpted famous elephants. Probably the most famous of all is Ahmed of Kenya. Okay, big tusks, 121 pounds each side. Okay, this majestic elephant. That brought more imagination to a young man's mind. Can you imagine? Lived on the side of Mount Marsabit. Ahmed of Marsabit was his name, like he was a royal, and he was a monarch. Anyway, we take these wonderful stories of elephants and we find other elephants. And if we go to the southeast corner of Zimbabwe, and that's also into the Gaza province of Mozambique, and that's also twisting round to the northeast province in South Africa, where the Kruger National Park is. That whole area was an elephant's area. Big tuskers, legends living under baobab trees. They're just magnificent. Their adversaries were Shangaan hunters in those days, who hunted them for meat, you understand. And there was this wonderful collection of big elephants and fantasy stories. Can you imagine sitting around the fire at night talking about big elephants? And a big elephant walked past you with the moonlight glinting on his tusks under a baobab tree. Doesn't get better. But which was the biggest elephant of them all? The tallest body. The one that we in the English language call taller than the trees. And the Shangaans, who have great respect for elephants, great knowledge of elephants, they call it Jula Miti. Kujula is to go above, to bypass, and Miti is trees. Kujula Miti, taller than the trees. And over here now is one of the first elephants that I made. This is Jula Miti with his shiny tusks in the moonlight. There he stands, taller than the trees. Jula Miti. And we come down our little branch here on our safari, walking away from that same area in the southeast of our country into Gaza province, Mozambique, where all the elephants roamed free before us nasty human beings came and settled and messed up things for them. We're trying to get it back together again with Trans-Frontier National Parks, by the way. We're trying to get this big wandering area for the elephants back again. Now we get to a famous elephant who settled down in the Kruger. Look at those incredibly long tusks. Oh my goodness, just look at him. This is Mafunyani, once again the Shangaans, around the campfire, telling their stories about the great elephants. And they call this one Mafunyani. Mafunyani. And I'll tell you why in a second. Look, as we look at Mafunyani, in the top of his head is a hole. That hole, either caused by another young elephant when they were fighting as youngsters, stabbed right through the skull into the nasal passage. That's where the air comes up in the trunk of an elephant, through to the nasal passage, all right? Or maybe not. Maybe shot by a poacher with a muzzle loader. Poacher up in a tree as the elephant went to drink. Boom! Straight through the skull. Anyway, the magic is the wound healed. But what? But the nasal passage came straight up into that hole. So every time this old jumbo went down to drink, sucked up, went to throw water over, boo, like a narwhal, big jet of water. Or if he went for a dust bath, with his trunks like this, slapping, he'd have dust coming out the top. But why did we call him Mafunyani? Why did those Shangaans call him Mafunyani? Mafunyani means the irritable one. That little hole in his head, as attractive as it might have made him to other elephants, or interesting to people with those beautiful tusks. He was mean. You went anywhere near this guy and he was after you. And so we go from the southwest of our country up to the southeast of our country, up to the northwest. That's the Zambezi River on the other side of Zimbabwe. And there we have elephants like this cow elephant in front of me, still in wax, still sculpting in wax. This is Chiquenya from near the Chiquenya River. And this lady here is also a cheeky lady, especially with her baby, Toto. Toto is a mimic of Mummy. Look at that. Mummy goes like this, like this. Toto goes like it. Everything Mother does, Toto does. And there she is. Chiquenya is famous, very, very famous for one move she made in front of 20 tourists filming her. There was a safari camp with a famous man called Mr. Stutchbury. Mr. Stutchbury was a tall, bearded man of the bush, knew more about baobabs, elephants, and the wild animals than most people. And Chiquenya came rushing through his safari camp, tourists screaming, falling over the ropes of the tents, some filming, etc. And here came this female cow elephant with a little baby up alongside her, and the elephants charged. And Mr. Stutchbury, that magic statuesque man, stood there like that. And Chiquenya stopped, and one of her tusks just went through the epaulette of his bush shirt, like this. And he said, "Hello, Chiquenya, how are you?" And she backed off and walked away. Respect. I love it. And finally, this little guy is just another little elephant. He has another mummy, couldn't get to see his mummy. I think he lost his mummy that day. And his name is Ndonda. And Ndonda, in a language in my country, means miserable. He's a sulker. Oh, trunk down, walking around, looking for his mummy, very upset. Good news is, found her, but still looked miserable for at least 2 days when I saw this chap in Mana Pools, Ndonda, looking miserable. But anyway, from out here, we wish all of you good health. Stay careful, and look forward to seeing you soon. From Zimbabwe, mwah.